Blade and Existence are two in-game leaders that I believe have been stuck on lesser teams for quite a while now. I think they're also two in-game leaders, even without the right talent, have put an impact on the scene. I believe Existence has shown us things from like Twanu and Alex, showing them maybe showing them how to play correct Counter-Strike, even though be it not the greatest accomplishments from LDLC. I still think maybe has had some impact on those players' play styles and what they do. And then also Blade has shown us that he can go into the CIS region, Russia, Ukraine, and find pro players that can have significant impact. And one of the better examples of that is Electronic, who is one of the players that people are saying might be on one of the best or good teams of the CIS shuffle that might be happening. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today I'm talking about these two in-game leaders who have been stuck on lesser teams. I say they should both go international and look for an opportunity to play in a different team. Now, there are multiple mixed teams that are lacking an in-game leader, although I don't know if they should join them. Or, I mean, certain ones that I would suggest against. Two that have a star player that I know they could work with and could use well are Dignitas and Penta. In Dignitas, we're going to start with like the lesser teams of which they could join. Dignitas, you have Jacob and you have Rubino, and I think if you put Rubino in the right place as a good support player that lurk, but like a supportive style of lurking, you could run a system and then set up Jacob as a star and second man in, gonna get all the frags and gonna run the show, kind of like a Forest type player. I don't think you would want to do that because you also have like Croman and I believe Fox in that lineup, and I don't even know. You have Croman, Fox, Jacob, and Tinsky. Tinsky used to play on Dignitas, the old Dignitas with MSL. Tinsky, and that would not be a good place for either in-game leader to go. He'd be really just switching teams almost of the same caliber and same firepower level. Penta is pretty much the same story as Dignitas. You don't want to join that if you are Blade or Existence. You would just have Sunny and potential HS, who is showing another Estonian player kind of breaking out, showing what he can do. Also, so with those two out of the way, another international team would be Mousesports, and I really believe Blade or Existence. I think Existence would work more because he's more in the European scene, and that would really change everything. Like if Existence went to Mousesports, he could probably better utilize Ropes, Lowell, and Oscar, the big three, and he could also probably play a good support style, maybe even better than Dennis, and have a decent fragging compared to Dennis or Chris J, whichever one. I would probably pick Dennis to be cut before Chris J, and I think that would work pretty well. So I think you could also structure the team and switch around the roles. Either have Lowell play the second man in, more of a star role, or just have Existence as the first one in. And either way, I still think it would work, and it would probably make Mousesports a really interesting team because they would have firepower and Ropes and Oscar and good stable players from Existence and Lowell and the strategies of Existence, and it would be super exciting, and they could really actually go deep, go into like the quarterfinals pretty consistently, kind of like a maybe even better than Gambit, and maybe even that odd surprising semifinal finish. Now Blade, there isn't really any other international teams besides Penta, Dignitas, and Mousesports because FaZe already have their in-game leader in Kerrigan, and I don't believe, unless they have a really crazy result at the CSGO major, Krakow major, I don't believe they're going to be making a change. One team, now this is a long shot, I don't know if he would want to go to North America. One team that actually has a big three, and what I mean by big three is your 3 stars that are going to deliver firepower, and a decent big three that have done chances that have won a tournament is Optic. They lost their in-game leader and became completely terrible. And I don't know if they can return to that level, but I think they could. And it'd be really interesting, especially if you gave them a smart, structured in-game leader like Blade and see what they do with it. It would be really interesting. Also, he could go in there. You'd probably take out Hazed, because I don't believe he's suited one for the in-game leading role, nor can he even frag well. I don't think he fits that role at all very well. I think I would put him in, and then I'd also give him the ability to just go through all the premier players and look for one player that has a very supportive, smart decision-making style, that has a little bit of skill, and then you bring him in there and you just work with him on getting better, on working on that support style. And I think Blade and I'm a Pet would actually, the coach of Optic would make a good pair and really improve the team. I think that's the best place for both of these in-game leaders. And I think other in-game leaders like that should either look at international teams or NA teams who lack an in-game leader and go, I can change this team completely around. There's multiple teams in North America, Optic and C9. If you just said, hey, I'll play, even if you just kind of threw they just threw a message, they could completely change their career, because what in-game leaders without talent should be looking for are those teams like an Optic and our C9 or a Mouse Sports who don't have a real in-game leader, and using somebody as a temporary solution like a Chris J, like a Hayes, like a Stewie 2K, where if you replace them, you could bring all your structure, your strats, and completely change those teams and make them into actual international contenders. And I think this existence going to Mouse Sports and Blade going to Optic would be a great move for both of these players and change their careers.